This is the Willows Park, and it's located on the outskirts of Christchurch on Thompson's Road off Old West Coast Road in West Melton. It has well-maintained walkways for hiking, cycling and running, and there's a fenced 4.3 hectare dog park where you can let your dog run free. Plus you'll also find a New Zealand Motor Caravan Association park here too, which I'll talk about later in the video. There are some nice fishing spots around here too. Please note that this is a strict non-motorised vehicle park, which means you can't bring motorbikes such as dirt bikes and quad bikes, and you can't drive four-wheel drive vehicles through the river here either. This park was created for the quiet enjoyment of nature, listening to the birds in the river, so no noisy vehicles are permitted here and no noisy activities. The Willows is part of the Waimakariri River Regional Park, which in total covers 15,000 hectares of river's edge land. The Regional Council, named Environment Canterbury, and the Selwyn District Council created the Willows together. One of the main reasons that the large regional park exists is because if this powerful Waimakariri River overflows, it could seriously damage Christchurch City and people's homes and farms. So by having this park here, the government has plenty of space to maintain this giant river and keep it under control. You get a stunning view of the Southern Alps from the Willows Park. The Southern Alps stretch over most of the South Island, and the melted snow and glacial runoff is the source of the Waimakariri River. The river itself is very wide and braided, so it's stunningly beautiful, but it's a bit of a nightmare to build bridges over it. Just be aware that the river may contain toxic algae cyanobacteria, so if you see this toxic algae, just don't let your dog or children swim in that spot of the river. I've mentioned in videos before about how Canterbury's dairy farms cause runoff that leads to the toxic algae growth in our rivers. So on the sign when it says fecal contamination, they're talking about all of that cow poo that drains off into the rivers and causes the toxic algae growth. You can park your car outside the dog park or near the public toilet to go for a nice walk around this area. This is the fully fenced 4.3 hectare dog park with agility equipment for dogs to play on. It also has picnic tables for you to relax on while your dog runs free. They've also provided plastic bags around the park so you can pick up after your dog. toilet here is a long drop, but it's well maintained, and they offer sanitising gel for your hands as well. Because this park does not have fresh water taps, so there's no sink with water taps here, you have to just use the sanitising gel for your hands instead. The New Zealand Motor Caravan Association Park is for NZMCA members only. It's right outside the long drop toilet, so you have good access to the toilet if you want to use it. There's a sign inside the long drop stating that there's strictly no emptying of your caravan toilet cassette allowed into the long drop, so just remember that. To get to the NZMCA Park, you want to go in through the usual Willows Park gates, and then keep going past the dog park. Go over that big hump in the road, and then turn right, and go past the long drop toilet, and you'll find the New Zealand Motor Caravan Park there. So just follow where I've drawn in orange on this map. There is a strong padlock on the fence to stop non-members driving into the NZMCA private area, and there's a fence around the perimeter to stop people walking in there also. There's a little office for you to sign in, and as usual it's $5 per night per adult. Just be aware that there's no fresh water taps applied here, so you have to bring all your own fresh water and take away your grey water afterwards. All rubbish, recycling and black water must also be taken away with you. The New Zealand Motor Caravan Association calls this type of park pack in, pack out, because you have to bring everything you need and take away everything when you leave again as well. Because it's pack in, pack out, what most people would do is, this park's not that far from NZMCA Weedons, and at Weedons there's plenty of freshwater taps, rubbish bins, dump station and everything you need there, so most campers would stop off at Weedons beforehand to collect water and so forth, and then when they leave the Willows they can go back to Weedons to drop off their grey water and black water and so forth at Weedons. So just be aware that there are two large humps in the road, and you'll have to drive over both of those large humps in the road to get to the NZMCA area. Aside from those two large humps in the road, the other issue is that the road is gravel the whole way into the park. I don't like taking my caravan on gravel like this because a stone flicked up and smashed my indicator light once when I was driving on a gravel road, and it was expensive to pay the repairman to fix it and give me a new light. You can buy front towing covers that protect your caravan windows and lights from getting smashed on gravel roads like this, and I would definitely buy one if I was going to stay at this park. The gravel road's one of the main reasons why not that many members actually stay at this park, and you'll notice that there's only one caravan here in my video. I didn't stay here at this park in my caravan because Selwyn is my home district anyway, so I didn't stay the night since I live in this region. One thing you should be aware of is that the Willows Park gates are locked up at night, so if you suddenly needed to get out at midnight, you actually can't. On the upside, you're not going to be bothered by bogans hooning around the park at 1 AM as the park is locked up at night. In summer, the gates are locked up around 10:30 PM, which is about when the sun sets here in Christchurch in the summertime. And in winter time, the sun tends to set around 5:30 PM, which is quite early. So for that reason, the council locks up the gates at 7:30 PM in winter. In the morning, the park ranger arrives early and unlocks the gates around 6 AM. And one last thing I will warn you about in this area is that the whole of West Melton has absolutely terrible phone reception. Your phone signal and your wireless internet connection will be really bad out here, and everyone always complains about the bad cell phone reception in West Melton. So just be prepared for bad internet if you do stay at this park. Otherwise, it's a beautiful, peaceful spot here, regardless of whether you just want to walk your dogs or go for a run, or whether you want to stay in the New Zealand Motor Caravan Park. So happy travels. Bye.